Hi and hello, I am ATHEENAPANDIAN here. Welcome to the Anatomy for the Biomedical Engineers classroom once again. Today we are just going to discuss about the next topic of our spinal cord, that is cross section of spinal cord. What are the parts involved in this cross section of spinal cord and what is the function of each and every parts we are going to see today. Come, let me start the class now. Spinal cord. Of course, we all know that the spinal cord is the most important part that will projected away from the medulla oblongate of the brain. That particular spinal cord is around 45 centimeter long, and it have more number of segments. Each and every segments have coming under each and every regions of the segments. So every segments of the regions consist of two different neurons that is present, that is motor neuron and the sensory neuron. And how the motor neuron and sensory neuron is internally connected, that is what we are going to discuss today. Because in the external anatomy, we are just crossed over what is cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral and coccygeal, everything. But now we are do it in the cross section. We are just studying in the previous class, that is a long tubular like structure. What we are going to now is today is we are just make a cross section of that particular tubular section, and then I just turn like this and just to see what has happened inside. So what has happened in the one segment of the spinal cord, that will happen in all the other segments. So we are just take an example of the one segment and what are the neurons present in it and what are the parts present in it. Then we are that particular thing will happen in all the other segments of the spinal cord. Come, let me start the internal anatomy of the spinal cord. Internal section of the spinal cord, that is cross section of the spinal cord. Once we made a cross sectional view of the spinal cord, it's look like this. Okay, so it is fully composed of gray matter and the white matter. Okay, so here in the external part that is called as the white matter, and the internal, that is butterfly like structure, right, that is shaded portion, that is called as the gray matter. Please remember this particular gray matter consists of four different horns, that is HORNs. Four different horns are there. The two dorsal horns and the two ventral horns. The two dorsal horns are present here. These are the two dorsal horns, and this is the two ventral horns. So this gray matter consists of two dorsal horns in the anterior region and the two ventral horns in the posterior region. In the dorsal horn, we have dorsal roots are there. In the ventral horn, we have the ventral roots are there. Okay, we can able to say that afferent portion and the efferent portion. Afferent portion is nothing but the entry point. Efferent portion is nothing but the exit point. Okay, so here in that particular root, we have the two neurons are present. The two neurons are called, we already know that each and every segments of the spinal cord consists of motor neuron and the sensory neuron. In the ventral canal, in the ventral root, the motor neuron will enter into the gray matter. In the posterior part, there is an anterior part, that is in the dorsal root, dorsal horns, it is the sensory neuron will enter into it, that is afferent part. Okay, so this particular part receives the informations and sending the informations. We all know that the motor neuron receives the information from the brain, sensory neuron give the information to the brain. So that is very important. That is the job done by this particular motor neuron and the sensory neuron. Okay, through this particular white matter, it will gray matter, it will reach the brain. Okay, in the center of the gray matter, there is a small canal is there. Here the spine is present. Here the spine, the long tubular, thin tubular and sharp like structure, that is called as a spine. Then come to the next portion of this particular cross section. After the butterfly like structure, we have the projection, we have the space called the white matter. We have the space called the white matter, this space. After the shattered portion, the space called the white matter. This white matter consists of so many neurons. So many neurons. All the axons of neurons are present in this particular white matters. Okay, all the axons of the neurons are present in this particular white matter. Okay, then this particular white matter play a main vital role to supplying the bloods from the blood vessels and the nutrients from the blood vessels, everything to the gray matter. Because of presence in the outer side, this particular part supplying the nutrients to the gray matter. Okay, this is the main important job of this particular white matter of the cross-sectional view of spinal cord. This is the parts of the one segment. Like that, we know that there are 31 segments are there. All the 31 segment, it includes all these parts. And all the 31 segments includes dorsal and ventral and these particular neurons. That is very important. Okay, because of the neurons only, all these parts are present here. Because the neuron did the major function, because the motor neuron and sensory neuron carrying the and receiving the that is the electrical impulses to the brain and from the brain. So that is what we need this particular shapes, and at the same time each and every segments need all these things. Okay, so this is the small anatomy of this cross-sectional view of the spinal cord. So hope you understand the topic today. That is a simple topic, that is the cross-sectional view of the spinal cord and the simple parts and the functions of each and every segments of the spinal cord. Till that we are just finishing the central nervous system. We are just hold, and in the next class we are going to start the new unit that is called as the digestive system, and what is the parts of the digestive system and what are the organs involved in the digestive system. Everything you are going to see in the next class. Thank you.